Hello everyone, and welcome to the second Multi Make video. The Multi Make started last month, and it's a YouTube video which is connected with the Facebook group, also called Papercrafting with Paul. And it's a way of you using up your scraps or making the most out of your DigiKits. And this is a sketch challenge, and I enjoy seeing how you interpret the basic sketch. So I'll show you the basic one and then see how you take it. And thank you to everyone who joined in last month and you've shared your cards in the album. If you're not already a member of Papercrafting with Paul, I'll add a link below for you to find a group and you can have a look at what everybody else has done as well. So this is number 2. And as before, here's a version I've made with non-Christmas kit by Knitwit. This is called Coffee Talk. So we're looking at using our backing papers and making the most out of them and creating the toppers then, whichever way you want. And I've added a few extra embellishments as well for that one. So that's the Coffee Talk one. But the idea for the Multi Make is to get the most out of our papers and to get multiple cards using limited supplies, and the idea is that you're building up a stash ready for Christmas. So if you go on to Papercrafting Paul, you'll be able to download this PDF, so you can print it out and have it on your desk to copy, or save it on your iPad or tablet so that you can just refer to it. And the way the multi-makes work are, you're going to choose 2 backing papers from your DigiKit and print them onto one sheet using the 13 by 18 centimeter version. So when you print your photos, you get this option of doing 13 by 18 pages. We're just doing exactly the same, but using our digital papers. And then a couple of sheets of brown cardstock. So for this one, I've gone for Dear Friends. So I'm going to get a couple of extra Christmas ones, because that had some lovely tag shapes for this one. Now, just because I'm using a tag shape and I used a tag shape here, doesn't mean yours has to be a tag shape. It can be any topper you want. Okay, so let's start by making some 5x7 card blanks. So to make your 5x7 card blank, you're going to cut it at 7 by 10. And because it's a multi-make, we're going to be making multiples. I'm going to make another card blank. Again, 7 tall, 10 wide. Now, if you printed out 2 sheets like this, you'd obviously get 4 cards, but you'd be able to swap them in all different ways. Especially at Christmas, if you want to make them all look different. Then I've got my scoreboard. I'm just going to score at half an inch. At 5 inches. And again, so in half is what I meant, not half an inch. So 5 inches. So those are my card blanks ready to be scored and burnished. So fold and burnish. So there we go, our 2 5x7 card blanks. And as I did in the first one, there are instructions to go and a diagram with all the dimensions on. So we're just going to follow it. So we've made our 5x7 card blanks. We're now going to choose the 2 pieces of pattern paper. So here they are. I'm going to cut them to 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. Let's bring in the trimmer again. So let's just cut off the top. Cut off one side. So we're going to go 6 3/4 tall. And now 4 3/4 wide. So that's just 1/4 inch shorter than each side of my card front. So 4 3/4. Just come back in. So now we're going to cut a horizontal strip from the bottom of each pattern paper at 1.5, and then cut another 1.5 strip off the bottom of each of these pieces. I'm going to do 1.5, and 1.5. So those are those 3. And again, what I can do is just go to 3 and come back to 1.5. So now I've got my strips cut. It says swap the central pieces of each pattern with the opposing. So this is where the magic of the multi-makes happen. So if I printed off another 2, I just have them there, and I'd be able to move these ones down one and have loads of different variations. But if you're just making 2, you just swap them over. And then it's a case of gluing these onto our card blank. And this is now where your individual flare will come in. Now I like to just take off the edge a little bit, that white core. So I'm using some vintage photo today because we've got this brown colour scheme from the Dear Friends. So I'm just going to go around each of these with the brown ink, just to get rid of the white core, but it also tones everything together. Now, if you had some lighter brown cardstock, like some craft colour, what you can do is you can take your vintage photo brown ink around the edge of that as well, and it'll really tone it in. I did that with another Dear Friend card I did. I think it was the quadruple easel. And you'll see how I went round, because I had a lighter brown cardstock, and it just brought everything together. So the last piece now. Got that, yeah. I don't want to swap that one round, otherwise my stripes won't be going the same way. So I was saying about the card blank, you could take around the outside of that front as well. Well, actually is showing up. I didn't think it would show up because it's quite a dark brown card, but it is. So that'll just tie it together. So you can see the difference between the non one and the inked one. And you obviously can come in a little bit further if you want as well. So because I've done it on the first one, I better do it on this one as well. Go. So we've now got the card blanks. I'm going to move these 3 to the side for now. Let's just do this one. So I'm just going to open my card flat so that I can lay it down to make sure I've got that even border all the way around. Just need to move it up slightly. There we are. I'm just going to use some glue. So you can see with these multi-makes, the idea is to make multiple of them, but they're quite simple. And once you're into the rhythm of cutting the size and dimensions, you can really get your Christmas cards. Because that's the time where we're making lots of cards. But if you're not into batch making where your cards are all exactly the same, this is the perfect way then of still getting lots and lots of cards, but each one being slightly different. So there's the first one. And the sun is coming out now, casting the shadows. So here's the second card. There's one. And let's make sure the stripes are going the same way. And the third. And just burnish them down. And there we go, that's the base of this month's multi-make. And then it's a case of just adding your topper. Now, in this one, I've just decided this month just to put the tag shape in. So, as I put the tag shape, you can see in the coffee one, on this one, I just put it straight. On this one then, I put it at a little angle. And with this tag, I just took a hole punch and turned the punch upside down. I think I brought one. So I just turned the punch upside down, lined it with the hole in the tag. So if I was going to do on this one, I would just line it up. Oh, I've already put foam tape on the back of this. But I just line it up. This one's obviously a bit too big. You just line it up where you want it and squeeze it. So that's all I did there, and added some ribbon, literally just going in and out, no knot or anything. And then just cut some extra flowers, which are also in the kit, and just tuck them behind. So this time, I think we'll just stick to straight ones. Now, these tags come plain in the kit, and then just layered the Santa and the reindeer on top. So I'm just going to place him there. And place him there. Now I have gone around the edges of these as well with the vintage photo so that everything ties in nicely. And you could keep it as simple as that. Or if you want to go a little bit further, in the kits you get a lot of ephemera and little bits, they call them. So I've got a couple of sentiments. I've got some buttons. Now with these buttons, they are quite small. They'll be fiddly to cut. So what I've done, because my hole punch is, my circle punch is 3/4 of an inch. I used, in Microsoft Publisher and Microsoft Word, you can actually tell it what size you want. So I made these 3/4 of an inch, so 0.75 inches tall. And it automatically resized it. And then on the printout, I just lined it up so that the button was in the middle of the punch and just pressed. So I didn't even have to cut them out with the scissors. There's some holly, another sentiment, but I cut out quite big. Because obviously the joy of a DigiKit is you can make it whatever size you want. A little gift. Some stars, another flower and gift. So I've got quite a few different little bits here ready to go. So I can make my cards just look a little bit different from each other. So maybe let's add, because this is quite busy and this one's quite plain, I think I'm going to add some buttons just down the side here. go. Now don't be afraid as well to cut into your bits. So I've got this here. I think what I'll do, I'll cut a little bit off it. I didn't think I wanted it all. Where should we go? There. Maybe I could have put that in a little bit first. There we are. A little bit of a holly leaf. And with the bit that's left over, I mean this one's a bit small, but it could have gone onto this one. That's what I did with this. This is actually one topper, but I cut the flowers in bits. So I used the little offcut there and the main body there. I think that's enough on that one. Let's just maybe add a sentiment in the corner. Do I have a holly jolly Christmas? Or do I want something sticking out the top? I'll come back to it later and see. Might be some holly. But I want to make sure I don't come over the edge. Let's have a look what I use in here first then. That's quite nice there. Let's add holly. And now the star would look nice, but it's sticking out. So let's just cut off a little bit of it. And now it's tucking in. Again, I've gone through around all these bits as well. If you look closely with that vintage photo. So everything ties in really nicely then. Maybe a flower, but it's going to catch this. So let's just take my scoring tool. And I've just marked around the bottom of the tag. So now I'll be able to take it under there. And because I've used very limited glue, I can just lift that star. Again, maybe this time I'll put the Here Comes Santa Claus there. I didn't bring the foam tape down with me to where I'm filming, but I'd probably just go back now and put some foam tape there. But right now, with the folded flowers, it's actually holding up, so maybe I don't actually need it. Do I need that in there? No. I mean, I could have stuck the flower, you know, you can go to town now. If I cut them, I tend to see if I can put them in somewhere. So this offcut could have gone up there as well. Let's have a look. Or do I just leave it? Less is more. That's not going to work because of the red. Maybe a blue star just to... What do you think? Do I need it or not? I don't think I do. Maybe I'm just trying to use up the bits when actually I don't need them. Does this need buttons? No. Stop adding more, Paul. Leave them as they are. So there we go. That's this month's Multi Mke. using the Dear Friends kit from Knitwits. And here are the Coffee Talk versions. So all using the same sketch from the Papercrafting with Paul PDF. So if you head over to the Facebook group, have a look in the file section, you'll find this. You can print off your copy, and you'll also find an album for you to drop in your versions. So snap the photo and add it in there. And as always, if you can, write me a nice comment underneath. Give me a thumbs up, that'll really help the channel as well, and keep bringing you these videos. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.